Hey guys, Alex here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be breaking down the difference between bank and Pag-ibig financing. Not everyone is capable of paying for their property purchase in cash. That is why private and government institutions offer housing loans to help buyers own their dream home. The good news is you don't have to have, say, 5 million on hand to buy a 5 million property. You just need the down payment, which is around 30 to 40% of the total contract price. So that is only an estimate because this can go higher or lower depending on the appraised value. When it comes to home loans, there are two main financing institutions that offer this: the bank and Pag-ibig, or also known as Home Loan Development Fund. Now you may ask, what is the difference between these two loan institutions? Which one should I go for? Banks are owned by private corporations while Pag-ibig is backed by the government. How do you apply for a loan? With Pag-ibig, you need to be a Pag-ibig fund member who has made 24 consecutive monthly payments. However, if you need to get a loan right now and you're not a member yet, don't worry, you can just get yourself accredited with Pag-ibig, apply for your membership, and then pay a lump sum that is equivalent to 24 monthly payments. Since the minimum monthly contribution is 200 pesos, multiply that with 24 months, that is 4,800. Second, be no more than 65 years old on the date of application and not over 70 years old at loan maturity. Pass the background and income credit card investigation. Be legally able to acquire property in the Philippines, meaning must be of legal age and a Filipino citizen. Have no bank or Pag-ibig loan that has been foreclosed on. Now let's go to home loan requirements. So again, first you must be of legal age and not more than 65 years old at loan maturity, because 65 is the maximum age that the bank will accept. Your age will determine your loan term, so you need to remember this because that is a factor in getting approved. Most banks give a maximum loan term of 20 years. Maybank is one bank that I know that gives a 30-year loan term. So if you are 50 years old now, 65 minus 50, that is 15. So this means you can have a loan term of up to 15 years if you are currently 50 years old. Second, you need to be a Filipino citizen. Third, have a viable income source, whether through employment, business, or your profession. The main differences between the bank and Pag-ibig when it comes to qualifying for a loan are the following. So first is we have age limit. When it comes to loan age limit, Pag-ibig gives a higher limit at 70 years old compared to the bank at 65 years old. So mas lamang si Pag-ibig ng 5 years when it comes to the age limit. And then second, another difference is that you need to be a Pag-ibig member to avail of a loan with Pag-ibig. When it comes to the bank, you don't even need to be a depositor of that bank to get approved. You just have to show that you are a qualified buyer and you are capable of paying off for your loan, and they will approve you even if you are not their depositor. Of course, that being said, it helps to be able to have a relationship with the bank when applying for your bank loan kasi mas bibilis talaga yung approval if you already have a relationship with the bank compared to if the bank doesn't really know you yet. And then second, we have loan purpose. There are different types of home loan that you can avail with the bank and Pag-ibig. First, we have loan purchase. The loanable amount for a home loan purchase is 80% of the appraised value for house and lot. But if it's a condo or a lot only, it would be 70% of the appraised value. And then we have construction loan. So the borrower can loan 80% of the bill of materials. So instead of appraised value, if it's a house and lot, condo or lot only, yung basis ng construction loan would be the bill of materials. And then we also have home improvement loan. So yung renovation of an existing home, that's for loan improvement. If you want to extend your house or if you want to improve your property, add another room maybe, so that would be under home improvement loan. And then we also have refinance mortgage. So you must be able to have 2 years payment history with an official mortgage and no history of default to be able to qualify for this type of mortgage. And then lastly, we have an equity loan. So getting a mortgage on a property that you already own, ito yung equity loan. Let's say you have a property that's been fully paid already and it's under your name, and then you want to get out, to take out a loan on this specific property. So that is called an equity loan. So usually the interest rates are a bit higher compared to a normal home loan. So with an equity loan, it's between 1 to 2% higher. Now, you must not confuse the appraised value with the selling price of the property because it is not the same thing. So to get a property's appraised value, an appraiser from the bank, usually it's a bank employee, will go to the property to appraise it. The amount that they will come up with is called the appraised value. Appraised values are usually lower than the selling price unless that property is really selling below market value. So whatever is the appraised value of that property, the borrower will then be able to loan around 70 to 80% of the appraised value. So the difference between the selling price and the loanable amount, that is called your equity. So this will be paid by the buyer to the seller in cash. And then we have interest rates. So bank and Pag-ibig interest rates in the last few years were at 6 to 7% per annum for a 5-year fixing period. Now, because of the pandemic and because we are entering into a recession, BSP has adjusted its interest rates and they are now higher. So quick disclaimer, guys, interest rates can change at any time. Pag-ibig, like for a 5-year fixing period, is currently at 6.6%. With banks naman, 5-year fixing period is at 7 to 8% depending on the bank. Prior to the pandemic, bank interest rates were closer to Pag-ibig interest rates at 6.5 to 6.88%. So sino ba yung mas higher yung interest rates or sino ba yung mas lower yung interest rates? Is it the bank or Pag-ibig? So it depends because some people seem to think that Pag-ibig is always has always lower interest rates than the bank. That's not always necessarily the case. It really depends. There are times that Pag-ibig has a lower interest rates than the banks, and there are times na yung bank naman yung mas lower yung interest rates sa Pag-ibig. So make sure to check both before applying for a home loan because again, interest rates can vary and it can change also at any time depending on the market. So now, as of the moment, we're seeing a 0.5 to 1% difference in terms of interest rates for banks post-COVID. Now, let's talk about the loanable amount. So the minimum loanable amount for banks is 500,000. This is why for socialized housing projects, where the loan amount is only 450,000, the only option is Pag-ibig financing. Automatic na siya because yung bank, 500K lang yung ceiling niya. That's the lowest loanable amount. The maximum loanable amount naman for banks will depend on these 3 factors. First is we have the age of the borrower. Again, age of maturity for banks is 65 years old. And then we have the gross monthly income, both spouses if married. And then third is the appraised value of the property. So for house and lot construction loan, you can loan 80% of the appraised value or 80% of the bill of materials. For condos or lot only na purchase, it's 70% of the appraised value. Let's say the bank has assessed your capacity to pay and your approved loanable amount is below the amount that you need. Can you increase your loanable amount? Yes, you can. You can do this by getting a co-borrower, which would be a first-degree relative like parents or siblings. If married, automatic co-borrower mo na yung spouse mo. Wala na siyang choice. Like, spouses are automatically co-borrowers of each other, so you can't get a loan without the approval of your spouse because both of you will have to sign the loan documents. For instance, your income is 70,000 per month and you need 100,000 per month to get the property that you want. So you will need to look for a co-borrower with an income of at least 30,000 per month para yung 70K mo plus 30,000 per month na income niya, magtototal na siya to 100,000 per month. And you can now get the property that you are interested in. So the co-borrower will be taking on the loan with you. So it's also a commitment on their part and they will also be co-owners of the property because yung name nila will also be reflected in the title. With Pag-ibig financing naman, the members are allowed to take on multiple loans up to 6 million. So kung yung bank walang ceiling sa loanable amount, if kaya mo, then they can increase the ceiling. But with Pag-ibig, may ceiling. It's only up to 6 million. So this is subject to similar conditions. Like for example, the age of the borrower. With Pag-ibig, age of maturity is 70 years old. Bank is 65 years old. And then we have gross monthly income. Again, both spouses if married. If single, you can always get a co-borrower to increase your gross monthly income. And then appraised value of the property. So may appraisers din ng Pag-ibig who will check the property and who will determine its appraised value. So again, for house and lot or construction loan, you can loan 80% of the appraised value or 80% of the bill of materials. Now, for purchase of condos or lot only, it's 70% of the appraised value. So the main differences between loanable amounts of bank versus Pag-ibig is that Pag-ibig has a maximum loanable amount of 6 million regardless of magkano yung income mo. Whereas the bank doesn't really have a maximum amount. You can loan as much as you want as long as you satisfy the 3 conditions of the bank, which is yung age, yung appraised value of the property, kung magkano yung appraisal, and yung loan term. Another difference is the co-borrower. So another difference between bank and Pag-ibig is yung co-borrower. You can get a co-borrower for both bank and Pag-ibig. That's one similarity to increase your loanable amount. But with the bank, your co-borrower has to be a first-degree relative. Whereas with Pag-ibig, it can be anyone, like pwede friend mo or your neighbors. So literally anyone can be your co-borrower with Pag-ibig as long as both of you are Pag-ibig members. So you see, banks really have more stringent requirements compared to Pag-ibig, like shorter long-term, yung borrower should be next of kin. Because yung reasoning behind the banks is mas madaling i-contact. Because hindi naman mag-change yung relatives mo, right? Like, kasi kailangan first of kin. So your parents will always be easy to contact for you, right? Or your siblings, mas madali talaga i-contact kaysa some random person. Maybe close ngayon, like neighbor mo siya ngayon, or your girlfriend or boyfriend, diba? So, kayo ngayon. But what if you break up and you got a home loan already? I've actually seen that happen. So may nag-reserve sa isang project namin in Iligan. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, and then they were still paying for the equity, but in the middle of paying for the equity, they broke up. So yung ending, yung guy na lang nag-continue sa equity payments, and siya na lang yung nag-apply sa Pag-ibig because split na sila. So those are the things that the bank considers. It's a lot easier na maghabol kung next of kin mo yung co-borrower. So by allowing only a first-degree relative to be a co-borrower, they have minimized the risk of loan default because you cannot really change your family members. Again, to summarize the differences between bank and Pag-ibig financing, first difference is loan term. Banks give a loan term of 15 to 20 years, so it's 20 years for house and lot, 15 years for condos. Although there are some banks that give 25 to 30-year term now, so mas competitive na sila and closer na to Pag-ibig. With Pag-ibig, they've always given a long term of maximum up to 30 years. So yung advantage naman nito is pag mataas yung loan term, mas magiging maliit yung monthly amortization mo because you have more time to pay it off. And the next is interest rate. So, yung 5-year na fixing period for Pag-ibig is around 6.6, while with the banks now, it's at around 7.5 to 8% for a 5-year fixing period. Again, interest rates can change, so you will need to just double check with either the bank or Pag-ibig before actually applying for a home loan. So next difference is requirements. With the bank, you don't have to be a depositor to be approved for a home loan. You just need to really qualify. Pero with Pag-ibig, you need to be a Pag-ibig member, paying Pag-ibig member with at least 2 years payment. And then another requirement is that if the property that you're buying is not a pre-selling property, but a privately owned property or under general brokerage na property, you need to submit a contract to sell along with the list of the requirements. And the next is co-borrower. So with the bank, your co-borrower must be a first-degree relative like your siblings or your parents. But with Pag-ibig, it can be anyone as long as he or she is a Pag-ibig member. And then maximum loanable amount. With the bank, no limit as long as the borrower satisfies all the requirements like the age, appraised value, and capacity to pay. Now with Pag-ibig, merong limit na 6 million for the home loan. Buying a home using housing loan is the easiest way to become a homeowner. But as with all major financial decisions, this needs to be thought out very carefully since investing in a property is a long-term choice. You can use this table on the differences between bank and Pag-ibig financing to weigh your options and to decide as to which financing institution is the best fit for you. If you have any questions regarding this post, just comment in the comment section below and I will try to answer you as soon as I can. Usually, I now answer comments through short form content, through YouTube Shorts. And if you want to be updated of the latest listings, newest projects in Visayas and Mindanao, send me an email so I can add you to my mailing list.